undying fascination with the cupcake. Okay, I feel you on this one. Let's have a little cupcake song, Joe.
This is Harold,
Yeah.
known as Humpty. I'm not sure why, but
It's
you don't
okay.
look like
It-
Humpty to me.
yeah, well, it takes a
Maybe an
long
old,
story.
an old thing.
Yeah, it's a long
So
story.
he's one of the producers
I'm a producer.
at the station here, and he's very helpful. So here is the typical broadcast room for either live radio or even radio that's taped and then rebroadcast at a later date. Our show is taped on Thursdays and show is aired on Party 105.3 at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, and the show has been an extraordinary success for myself. What the show offers me is an ability to reach out to people in the community that own different types of businesses, some that relate to the actual practice of plastic surgery, because the show is called Health, Beauty, and Fitness. However, since I have free editorial control over the show and in content, I'm able to bring on guests of all various types of businesses and business owners. I think it's always interesting to hear the different stories about how people actually get involved in the businesses they're in. It seems like people start out in a certain area that may not be totally suited to their talents, and then ultimately they either co-op a piece of that business or they do something related to it. Many young entrepreneurs, tanning salons, tanning spas, a lot of massage type of businesses. We were just discussing downstairs how we're amazed the number of spas, day spas, medi spas, massage spas, all offering services, and wondering how the economy actually supports this number of them. Hardworking, resourceful people. They now have to contend with a corporate entity and these types of disciplines. Also, met a lot of people in the nightclub business, in the promotions business, and that's always very interesting. Interesting trend in nightclubs, particularly on Long Island, is that you're no longer seeing places being built as exclusive nightclub venues. When we think about, at least in my life, back in the late 70s, early 80s, when I first was old enough to start going to bars and clubs, clubs were entities. They probably had people in them Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. We all remember the days of Studio 54 and Xenon and all these clubs that sort of emerged during the disco era. And basically bar and dancing. No food, no bottle service, none of these other things that we commonly see now. As the industry has evolved, particularly today, it seems like combining a restaurant business with some kind of club lounge effect seems to be the way of that industry in places that are permanently of that type. In other words, think of the Shore Club in Miami Beach. So that sort of genre of a club, restaurant, lounge, where it's like all of your needs: your bar, your restaurant, and your club lounge, where there's some dancing, some interaction. We want to call it a pickup scene, or you go with groups of people, or whatever. However the young crowd socializes these days, that club concept has taken off. When we look here to Long Island, what's very interestingly happened is that Long Island has difficulty with weekday business. It seems that places can get fairly busy on the weekends. Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday probably being their key nights. Sunday, if you get the family crowd. But it seems like 3-day-a-week business in the club business is not really sufficient to keep the doors opening and to keep things running. So what some very smart people have done is they've co-opted the concept of a club, and it's not really a club in permanence, it's a club concept for a specific evening. So instead of the promoters and other investors having the risk of running an establishment with all of the overhead, with all of the upkeep, what they do is they rent out. For example, the most successful one that we've seen so far is the Body English, which is taken the Chateaubriand, which is a catering hall in western Nassau County in Old Country Road area. What happened there was the Scotta brothers, very formidable restaurateurs on Long Island, and caterers, they took over the Chateaubriand, they renovated it, and one particular area, they have a very nice lounge and bar opening up into a great outdoor space where you would never know you were on one of the busiest commercial streets really in the metropolitan area, which is Old Country Road, a very heavy retail area. In the evening, the way the gentlemen who have promoted and who are partners in this business, where they probably share revenue with the Scotto brothers, but basically they have no risk. They just have to fill the place and satisfy the owners that they're getting some action on it of all nights a Tuesday night. And this is also done during the summer because people like to be outdoors in the summer. So the space is fantastic, and they've had crowds as much as 3,000 people, no cover charge. Of course, they're going to make their money on selling food and drink, and the food is very good. It's very informal, if you want to call it dining, sushi, pizzas, sort of handheld food, but not inexpensive food, not cheap food, but very good food. And it probably the crowd, I would say it's 25 to 50. So I would say that the guys who are running the thing at the Body English are doing a superb job. It's a really fun evening. It's a good place to promote your business. It's a good place to just go out and have a good time, and the crowd is actually very well behaved, and the women are very attractive. So some of the other things we've seen here is we've talked to different types of physicians, dentists, lawyers, and again, all people with just an interesting story about how they've started their careers and how their careers have prospered or have, run into difficulties during the recession. This show has been running during really the guts of this recession, and everybody's working hard and trying to establish their businesses. We've looked at some online businesses, two young people who had started a restaurant website and restaurant promotions for Long Island, and looking to do some networking on there. And just a whole proliferation of well thought out businesses which require very little startup capital and take advantage of the media that's available, mostly internet and social networking sites. So once again, here is the sort of standard interview room. You see the computers, the microphones, everything is very automated now. Everything is recorded on a computer with certain types of programming. They have the large board here for all the sound mixing of the software and the electronics, and the backup equipment is so good that it makes this kind of production not difficult. Everything can be edited on the spot and made for easy production and easy reproduction, where the audio files can be simply emailed to myself and our guests so they can be used in whatever fashion they'd want to use them.